The first time Captain Alara Kane heard the screams, she thought they were coming from the ventilation system. The Starship Ardent was on routine patrol at the edge of the Varkon Nebula, a sector notorious for pirated mining stations and rogue alien vessels. But no vent in the ship could produce that sound, a shrill, guttural wail that carried an unmistakable sense of pain and desperation. Alara's crew glanced nervously at each other. "You hear that?" Lieutenant Kale whispered, his fingers hovering over the console. The bridge, normally humming with the low whir of the engines, was unnervingly silent. "I hear it," Alara said, her voice firm, though her stomach tightened. "And it's not coming from the ship. Bring us closer to the source. Whatever it is, something is in trouble." The signal traced to a derelict research station orbiting a barren, storm-racked planet. From the surface, the station was a dark silhouette against the swirling purples and blues of the nebula. Its lights flickered sporadically, as if the structure itself were gasping. "Looks abandoned," Kale said. "Sensors show no life forms aboard, just residual energy readings. Wait, movement. There's something alive inside." Alara nodded, setting her jaw. "Suit up. We're going in." The airlock hissed as the team entered the station. Rusted corridors stretched ahead, lined with broken machinery and shattered glass. The sound of dripping water echoed eerily, punctuated by that scream, now muffled, but still sharp enough to make their skins crawl. They followed it to a large containment chamber. Inside, a creature, tall, humanoid, with opalescent skin that shimmered faintly in the dim light, was restrained in a lattice of energy bonds. Her eyes, large and golden, glowed with tears, and her limbs jerked as she tried to break free. "She's alive," Kale murmured. "She's terrified," Alara corrected. She studied the creature carefully. "And in pain." The alien looked at them, and something unspoken passed between her and Alara. A silent plea for rescue. She screamed again, a raw, piercing sound that reverberated through the chamber. "Shut it down," Kale said, moving to the control panel. But the interface glitched violently at his touch. Energy arcs shot out, forcing him back. "Keep her calm," Alara ordered. "We'll figure this out." Over the next hour, the team worked to deactivate the containment field. Every attempt triggered alarms and erratic energy discharges. And all the while, the creature screamed, a sound that pierced deeper than metal or electronics ever could. Alara crouched before her. "Hey, it's okay. We're here to help." She extended a hand cautiously. The creature recoiled at first, then reached toward her. There was a desperation in that gesture, an instinctual trust placed in a stranger. Kale grunted as the final panel unlocked, a cascade of sparks illuminating the chamber. With a hiss, the energy bonds collapsed. The alien collapsed onto the floor, breathing hard. Alara helped her up. She towered over the human, yet her voice was soft, melodic, like wind through glass. "Thank you," she said in a language Alara didn't understand. Yet somehow the meaning was clear. Gratitude, relief, hope. "Who are you?" Alara asked, brushing debris from her armor. The alien pointed to herself, then at the nebula outside. Words weren't needed. She was a survivor, and the Varkon Nebula was her prison. They were barely 3 minutes into retreating when the station shuddered violently. Explosions erupted in the lower levels. A deep, mechanical roar echoed through the corridors. "Something's awake," Kale shouted, drawing his pulse rifle. "We've got company." The creature, now walking steadily beside Alara, rushed toward a side corridor. "Come on," she urged, motioning frantically. Though they didn't understand her words, the urgency was clear. They ran, narrowly avoiding falling debris. From behind them came the unmistakable sound of massive servomotors. Security drones, long abandoned but now reactivated by the station's failing AI, pursued them relentlessly. Alara's mind raced. They needed to reach the shuttle bay, or they wouldn't leave the station alive. She glanced at the alien, noting how agile and fast she was despite the trauma she'd suffered. "You can fly?" Alara asked, hoping she could understand. The alien nodded, pointing toward the shuttle bay. The journey through the crumbling station became a trial of endurance. They moved through hallways that buckled under their weight, over floors that threatened to collapse. At every corner, drones emerged, their laser eyes scanning. Kale fired without hesitation, but the sheer number of drones was overwhelming. Then, as if sensing the threat, the alien acted. She raised her hands, and a shockwave of energy emanated from her. The drones sparked and fell, one after another, until the hallways were eerily silent. Alara stared. "You're powerful." The alien simply shook her head, her expression somber. "Only in desperation," her gaze seemed to say. Finally, they reached the shuttle bay. The Ardent's small scout shuttle waited, engines humming. Alara ushered the alien inside, while Kale loaded their gear. But as they prepared to lift off, a massive figure loomed in the doorway. A hulking, multi-limbed sentinel, activated and determined to stop their escape. The shuttle doors began to close, but not fast enough. The sentinel's limbs slammed into the walls, sending sparks flying. Alara gritted her teeth. "Get her out of here." She fought to keep the door open. The alien moved to the cockpit and, with a gesture, interfaced with the shuttle. The engines roared, and they shot upward, just as the Sentinel's final strike collided with the bay. Once in orbit, the alien turned to Alara. This time, she spoke in a voice that resonated within the shuttle, not just through the air. "Thank you, human, for your courage." Alara shook her head. "No, you survived. That's courage enough." The nebula spread out beneath them, a sea of stars and storms. The alien reached toward it, tracing patterns in the space outside. Alara could see her people's world reflected in those swirls, and something in her chest tightened, a longing, a sense of connection. "Where will you go?" Alara asked. The alien hesitated, then pointed toward the galactic rim, where uncharted systems waited, untouched by war or exploitation. She didn't need to speak her next thought. She would be free there, finally. Alara nodded. "Then go. Live." For weeks afterward, the Ardent's crew monitored the nebula, hoping to catch a glimpse of the alien's path. And once, just once they did. A streak of opalescent light cut through the stars, moving faster than any known ship, leaving a trail of hope behind. Alara often wondered if she would see her again. But deep down, she knew that freedom didn't need witnesses. It only needed survival. The Varkon Nebula remained dangerous, full of abandoned stations, pirates, and mysterious life forms. Yet somewhere in that chaos, one being had reclaimed her life, and one human had answered the scream, proving that courage, no matter how small, could echo across galaxies. Ending. Years later, Alara stood on the bridge of the Ardent, watching the nebula drift past. A faint, shimmering signal appeared on the long-range sensors. Her pulse quickened. It was the alien, sending a simple message in patterns of light, a greeting, a thank you, and a promise of continued survival. Alara smiled. The scream she had once heard in captivity was now a voice of freedom. And somewhere beyond the stars, that being thrived untouched, unbound, and alive. Sometimes, heroism wasn't about defeating every enemy or conquering every challenge. Sometimes it was simply about answering a scream and giving someone a chance to live. And that, Alara realized, could be enough to change a galaxy.